right here. What an awesome pass through the slot, onto the stick of Batherson. Kachuk in tight up, let's get going, scores! Brady Kachuk wins it in overtime for Ottawa.
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon, and I am your host. Now, before we get started, make sure to follow us on Twitter, @SensTalk_, and on Instagram @SensTalk. As well, go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code SensTalk. You will save $20 off your first purchase. Now, going into today's game, Ottawa has not scored 2 straight games. It's been 157 minutes since Ottawa has last scored. That last goal for Ottawa was from Chris Turney, a second period goal back against Carolina. So it's been quite some time. Let's see if Ottawa can break that spell today. Not looking good, I'll be honest, going into today's game. Ottawa has lost 10 straight games against the Capitals. Their last win was in February 2017 when Ottawa went on that crazy run with Guy Boucher. That was a completely different team. So it's safe to say that this core definitely wants to beat the Washington Capitals. Now, before today's game, a couple things. Firstly, Anton Forsberg starts today's game on a back-to-back situation. It only makes sense that Matt Murray gets some rest. Don't want to injure him. Don't want to make him too tired. And as well, Austin Watson before today's game was suspended for 2 games for this hit, as you can see here on the screen. I disagree with the suspension immensely. As you can see on the screen right now, Austin Watson clearly tucked his elbow in to avoid major head trauma to the Boston Bruins player. So at the most, maybe this is probably an interference penalty, which is what it was called. This is definitely interference. The guy didn't have the puck, but as you can see, there was no real ill intent or attempt to hit the Bruins defender in the head, which is basically why he was suspended, because he tucked in his elbow, and with the Bruins defender, he's shorter than Watson, and he was crouched over. It was a bad position, and sometimes in hockey, it's safer to fall through with your hit rather than try to avoid the hit, because that's actually how injuries do occur sometimes, by trying to avoid a hit. So I disagree with the suspension, especially because Aaron Dell, the third-string Buffalo Sabres goaltender, one of the worst goalies in the National Hockey League, who's now going to be stuck in the AHL, hopefully, for the rest of his career, was suspended 3 games for a reckless and unnecessary hit. Unlike this hit where it was in the game, it's a quick second decision, this was an unnecessary hit from Aaron Dell, resulting in a long-term injury to Drake Batherson, who kept him out of the All-Star game and is going to keep him out for big portions of this season. So you're telling me that Aaron Dell gets 3 games for injuring an All-Star for no reason, but Austin Watson, on a questionable hit, gets 2 games? I mean, there's no consistency in these suspensions, and hopefully we'll see some suspensions to the Capitals, some of their Capital players, after today's game, because the Washington, we'll talk about it at the end of this video, but Washington was really headhunting. So, you know, if we're going to set the standard with that Austin Watson hit as a 2-game suspension, I think at least 2 players from Washington should probably get suspended after this game, I won't lie. But let's get into the game recap. Ottawa's taking on Washington. Like I said, 10 straight losses against the Capitals, but things are looking real good, real early for Ottawa. Connor Brown with a beautiful setup finds Alex Formenton, who snipes it shorthanded to break Ottawa's shutout streak early in the first period of play. The Senators lead 1-0. Then later on in the first period, a nice pass here. Chris Turney puts the puck up to Zach Sanford. Sanford identifies Gaudette coming to the net, so Sanford draws the defender to the outside. Sanford with a nice backhand pass finds Gaudette, who puts it in on a nice little move. Ottawa going to the second period of play leads 2-0 on Gaudette's 5th of the season. Now, to the second period we go, 45 seconds into the second period. Nick Holden's way too soft on Backstrom out front here. Ovechkin takes a shot, Backstrom gets the rebound. 2-1 game. Holden has to be much stronger on the guy in front of the net there. Now, midway through the second period of play, this is what I was referring to earlier. Brady Kachuk gets headhunted by John Carlson. I mean, headhunted. And, look for a second there that Brady Kachuk could be seriously injured, and he was taken to concussion protocol. When he returned from concussion protocol, the captain did some captain things. His first shift back, it's a goal! 3-1 Senators, puts home the loose puck in front of the net. Samsonov is not having a good day, but regardless, Brady Kachuk, the captain, makes it 3-1 Senators. And guess what? That is exactly why he is your captain of the Ottawa Senators. Sometimes players are literally born to be captains, and that's what Brady Kachuk is. Like, for example, during the anthems, I couldn't find a video of this, so my bad, but during the anthems, Sportsnet showed or really zoomed in on Brady Kachuk mumbling and speaking to himself before the game or before the puck drop. This guy is just built different, all right? He has a different mentality, and that is why he's the captain. And it's the proof is in the pudding here. Comes out of concussion protocol, immediately makes the Capitals pay for a stupid hit there, a careless hit by John Carlson, 3-1 Sanders, and that hit by John Carlson, you can see it on the screen. That hit should be a suspension. If that Austin Watson hit is going to be a suspension, this John Carlson hit is exactly the same thing and exactly should be a suspension. And honestly, wait. It's not the same thing. I take that back. You can see here, Carlson puts his elbow out to Tkachuk's head. Watson didn't even do that. So with that in mind, Carlson maybe should even get more than 2 games. I would not hold my breath, though. The NHL player department, or player safety department, never truly gets these calls right. But once again, this should absolutely be a suspension for John Carlson. We go to the third period of play. Nick Paul and Tom Wilson get into a bit of a fight because Tom Wilson takes a run at Tom Chabot. It was a clean hit, but I do like Nick Paul standing up for Chabot and, frankly, his team. The whole game, the Capitals were going after our players. There was a couple of cross-checks into the board to Brady Tkachuk, for example, after he returned from that Carlson hit. So, I mean, listen, the Capitals were just trying to injure our players. They were headhunting when it was apparent that they were going to lose this game. And it was apparent that we were going to lose this game because with about 10 minutes to go, Connor Brown streaking through the middle. Tkachuk finds him. Brown snipes it through the armpit of Samsonov. He definitely wants that one back. But Ottawa scores there to make it a 4-1 game. After that goal from Connor Brown, with about a few minutes to go in the game, Garnet Hathaway headhunts. Again, another Capital player headhunts. He headhunts Alex Formenton, lays him out with a head hit. And Formenton obviously wasn't expecting it, as you can see on the screen. Listen, he was looking the other way. Sure, maybe you could say keep your head up. But guess what? When you don't have the puck or you're not close to the puck, you shouldn't have to be worried about getting hit. This is a dirty hit by Garnet Hathaway. He should also get suspended because that's ill intent by him, unlike Austin Watson yesterday with Boston. But some positive news. Formenton and Chabot were only held out for precautionary reasons, and hopefully that'll be the extent of them being held out of the lineup, because that would be a huge blow to the Sanders lineup if we lost Formenton and Chabot. But it looks good, so we should be okay there. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The Sanders win it 4-1 over the Washington Capitals. You know what? It was an interesting game, to say the least. The Capitals were, I mean, they were dirty, I won't lie. I did not appreciate the way they were playing with Ottawa whatsoever. Some of those hits, I mean, listen, dangerous, reckless hits. Formenton and Chabot, right now, they look to be fine, but they could be hurt. Who knows, right? So, definitely, I would hope, don't expect, but I would hope that a couple of Washington players are suspended going into tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But it's a nice win here for the boys, especially in a back-to-back situation. Throughout the game, they were definitely the better team over Washington. And in a back-to-back situation where, you know, you just lost in brutal fashion to the Bruins and you're flying out to Washington for another afternoon weekend game, it's a nice effort for the boys. Happy to see it. Speaking of good efforts, Anton Forsberg was fantastic today, making 33 stops. One of those stops potentially save of the year. I mean, he basically robbed the goal from going in. Absolutely insane. Big game for Anton Forsberg. And like Brian Sherbin and Derek Lee and I were speaking about it in our second intermission Twitter space. By the way, follow us on Twitter @_. During every single intermission, we do a live audio stream on Twitter, so be sure to join there. We can all discuss how the game's going and everything. But on there, we were discussing how Forsberg, most of the time, from a backup goaltender, all you're looking for is a guy that can give you good starts in about 85% of his starts. And that's what Forsberg usually does. Another great start here got us the win, especially when the Capitals were really trying to put stuff on the net. And like I said, the Capitals are a dirty team. Tkachuk, Formenton, Chabot all shaken up after dangerous hits, all targeted with dangerous hits. So good on Nick Paul for standing up to the Capitals, like when Tom Wilson hit Chabot there. But, you know, at the end of the day, a 4-1 win. It's a massive win, and hopefully none of the boys are hurt. Now, the next Saturday game is on Tuesday, February 15th against the St. Louis Blues at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll see you all then. Besides that, I hope you all enjoy the Super Bowl. In about a couple hours, Cincinnati and Los Angeles are taking on each other. Whoever wins, of course, wins in the biggest game on earth. So I'm hoping Cincinnati wins. I'm a 49ers fan. Do not want to see the Los Angeles Rams win. Besides that, thank you all for watching. I appreciate the support as usual. Make sure to like this video, share this social cool stuff, and of course, click the big red button down there, make it great, and subscribe to us. And most importantly of all, turn the notification bell on so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. Besides, thank you all for watching. I appreciate your support as usual. Love you all. Speak to you soon. Go Sens, go.